Okay, now we're going to put the grip on this hickory-shafted golf club, and from experience, we know that the grip's going to go down about 12 to 13 inches. So we're going to put some tape underneath the grip to make it the correct size, the correct diameter, because the shaft of the golf club is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, which actually is too small for the grip. So we're going to put some tape underneath it, the leather wrap that we're going to put on there. So we're going to measure down about 12 inches, and I'm going to put a little mark there so I know how far to put the tape that's underneath the grip. We're going to wrap on this leather strip. It's just a strip of leather. You can either, this is one that we have made for us in some quantity, but you can just cut a piece of leather from the leather factory is a store that sells it. And what we're going to put underneath it is friction tape. It's the old type of electrical tape. You can pick it up at a hardware store or a Home Depot or something. And all we're going to do is wrap this on here. I'm going to wrap it down to where it's 12 inches down the shaft to that mark I marked. So we're just going to twist this. And the reason we like to use friction tape is that it provides the grip, the leather that you put on there won't slip. There's not like an adhesive to wear out or anything like that. Now here, I've got one wrap on there. Now some people like their grip just to be a consistent size, but if it's kind of like the modern grip, it's tapered. So I've got this on there for 12 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another piece of tape on there, and I'm going to go about 3/4 of the way down. Not all the way to 12 inches. I'll go somewhere maybe 6 to 8 inches, and then tear the tape off. And now I'm going to put another layer of tape, but this time I'm only going to go down about 4 inches. And so now I've got 3 layers of tape here, 2 here, and 1 down here, so it kind of tapers the way you'd like to see a modern grip. Now we're going to put our leather strip on it, and this strip's about 3/4 of an inch wide, but you notice here at the tail it's narrower. And what we do is we come up about, if this were the grip before we do anything to it, we come up about 4 inches, and we'll take you can take a scissors or anything and just cut a taper starting here down to about where it's maybe 1/4 of an inch wide there. So you cut along this line, and what you end up with is something that looks like this. And that's to help the grip get started. Makes it so you can overlap it. And then what we're going to do to hold the end of the grip in place, if you don't do this, the grip will slip out. You're going to put a tack in the end of it. So we're just going to, that was bent. We're just going to take the, catch a little bitty piece of the leather there, put a little carpet tack in there. Now what that's going to do is it holds it in place, lets you whip it, wrap the grip around, and during play that will stay in place and it won't slip out. So all we're going to do now is just wrap this grip. We overlap it. This piece here is overlapping the previous one, just barely catching the edge. In measurements, I'd say it's not more than a 1/16 of an inch. I'm going to stick it in my little fixture here. It makes it easier for me to spin it. We just keep on winding it down. That slant on the end of the grip helped it to where instead of just rolling around on top of each other, it provides the right angle so that we can keep on winding it down. Now this grip was this piece of leather was a little short. I've got too much of this hanging out. That's not a problem. We use a razor blade. I'll just put it on the front there, go twist the shaft, and it'll make a nice clean cut. You pull the excess off and discard it. Now you've got your edge of your grip here that you need to finish off with whipping thread. We take the razor and we'll trim this back a little bit to put a little taper on it. I'm just scavving the leather, I think is what they call it. This one had already had some of it cut, so I'm just tapering that leather. And then I would take my whipping thread, just like we did when we whipped the neck of the wood, loop it over, same procedure. And all it's going to do is cover the area where the shaft meets the grip. Cut that tail off just like we did before. I lost my little piece of whipping, so I'm going to use a little puller that we have here. It's a wire puller. On these, you don't overlap it 10 times. You probably do it 5 times. Cut that 4-inch tail off again. When we did the neck, this was a piece of whipping thread that we looped over. I'm just using this wire piece here because I didn't cut a piece ahead of time. We pull it through. Trim it off. And there's the finished end of the grip, just like they did it back in from probably 1900 to 1920. This one's ready to play.